Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today, we're looking at the top 10 incredibly unlucky winners.
Number 10. Bradley Hardison. In a feat that would make Homer Simpson proud, Bradley Hardison of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, devoured 8 donuts in 2 minutes to beat police officers in a donut eating competition at an anti-crime event sometime in 2014. Sweet victory, right? Except that the news of his win eventually led to his arrest. As it turned out, Hardison had been a suspect for about 9 months for separate break-in incidents at 2 local establishments. Lieutenant Max Robeson of Camden County Sheriff said that they had been trying to interview Hardison regarding the break-ins, but he had somehow remained elusive. His victory was published by a local newspaper, and that was when Robeson finally was able to trace his whereabouts and ultimately arrest him. As to whether Hardison was too stupid to realize he was wanted or he simply wanted to rub it in the police officers' faces, we'll never know. Perhaps he just couldn't resist the opportunity to eat a bunch of donuts. Number 9. Timothy Bradley. When professional boxer Timothy Bradley first learned that he was selected as Manny Pacquiao's next opponent in early 2012, he felt like it hit the jackpot. After all, the fight was going to earn him a career-high payday of $5 million. The two clashed in June of 2012, the fight lasted the full 12 rounds, and most boxing analysts scored the fight in favor of Pacquiao in their unofficial scorecards. Most observers felt that the fight wasn't even really close. Yet when the decision was announced, to everyone's surprise, Bradley got the nod from 2 of the 3 judges, enough to win the fight by a split decision. He won Pacquiao's welterweight title and kept his immaculate slate intact. This was by far the biggest official win in Bradley's career, but the backlash from the decision was something Bradley never anticipated. Bradley and his family received all sorts of insults and death threats in the weeks that followed. At one point, it got so bad he seriously contemplated suicide. He considered this period the darkest time of his life and wished that he had lost the fight instead. Number 8. Denise Rossi. In January 1997, Denise Rossi shocked her husband of 25 years by filing for divorce. It was something that completely blindsided her husband Thomas, as he said there was never any problems in their relationship before that. They were 2 homebodies who loved each other and were so close that they even shared an electric toothbrush. It wouldn't be until over 2 years later that he found out why. Denise Rossi, as it turned out, had won $1,336,000 in the lottery on December 28, 1996, just a few days before she filed for divorce. She didn't want to share her winnings with her husband, claiming that she had actually been miserable throughout their marriage. Her husband found out about her win when, in May of 1999, he mistakenly received mail intended for his ex-wife from a company that pays lump sums of lottery winnings. Confirming through the California State Lottery Commission that his ex-wife indeed had won the lottery more than 2 years before, Thomas Rossi filed a case against her for not disclosing her winnings during the divorce proceedings. The judge ended up awarding the entire $1,336,000 to him. Denise Rossi not only lost her husband of 25 years, but she didn't get to keep a single penny of her lottery winnings. Number 7. Marina Domingo. Have you ever felt so happy you could die? Well, this next entry is about a grandmother who was so happy she literally died. Like, for real. Marina Domingo was a 76-year-old woman from Luag, Philippines. Around December 2014, she participated in a raffle. The grand prize, an alkaline water bottle. If you're not familiar with it yet, it's a bottle that converts regular tap water into alkaline water. It's said to have many health benefits, including enhancing the immune system and improved digestion. Of course, this may or may not be true depending on who you ask. Apparently, Marina was a believer of its health benefits. That is why, according to her children, she wanted the prize so badly. And when her name got called and she was declared the winner, she was so overjoyed her blood pressure shot up, causing a heart attack and killing her on the spot. Number 6. Patrick Coulter. Nintendo Wii is not exactly a game console to die for, but oddly enough, it either directly or indirectly caused the death of several individuals, including 14-year-old Scituate, Massachusetts native Patrick Coulter. Coulter was a member of the Word of Life Fellowship Church, and on November 23, 2007, they held an event in partnership with the American Hockey League's Providence Bruins. Church members gathered to watch the Bruins versus Portland Pirates game. Then they had a variety of contests on the ice rink after the game's conclusion. The supposedly fun-filled night was capped off with a raffle, in which Coulter won a Nintendo Wii. The teenager was so thrilled with the win that he ran down from the stands to the rink to claim his prize, only to collapse and fall through the penalty box door. There was no visible wound from the fall, but it was reported that the boy suffered from a heart condition, which may have likely caused him to collapse. He was immediately taken to hospital, where he passed away. Number 5. Cherilyn McGraw. When Ellen DeGeneres isn't dancing, goofing around with celebrity guests, or inviting talented people from around the world to perform on her show, she enjoys doing silly contests with her live audience where she gives generous prizes in return. In January of 2013, Cherilyn McGraw won a contest on the Ellen DeGeneres show called Stuff Your Down Under Pants. The prize was an all-expenses-paid skydiving trip for two in Australia. It was in December 2013 when Cherilyn and her husband of 2 years, Brandon, decided to cash in on the prize and took the trip to the land down under. What was supposed to be a dream vacation turned out to be a nightmare. Brandon, an Afghan and Iraq War veteran, landed horribly from the skydive with his body slamming hard to the ground. He went into cardiac arrest because of how badly he fell and was pronounced dead shortly after. Ellen DeGeneres called it an unimaginable tragedy, and she and her staff kept in touch with Cherilyn as a show of support. Number 4. Cando. Cando was a 19-year-old medical student and part-time glamour model. In October 2014, she won the Queen of Duran beauty pageant in her home country of Ecuador. Her winning prize included a brand new car, a smart tablet, and a free liposuction procedure. The teenage beauty queen was at first hesitant about taking advantage of the liposuction procedure, thinking she did not need it. She felt that she could lose weight through exercise anyway. According to her brother, Daniel Zavala, Cando kept receiving phone calls from the surgeon, Dr. Gustavo Burr, persuading her to go ahead with the surgery, but she kept turning him down. But Dr. Burr, who also served as one of the judges in the pageant, was persistent. Allegedly, Dr. Burr promised Cando a job to be one of his medical assistants as long as she went through with the surgery, and Cando eventually relented. Unfortunately, the operation did not go as planned. The surgeon botched the procedure, which led to Cando's death. Her death had been attributed to brain edema, though clinical staff also claimed it was caused by cardiac arrest. Dr. Burr was eventually arrested on charges of negligence. Number 3. Frank Hayes. Frank Hayes was a horse trainer and jockey in the early 1900s. In 1923, at the age of 35, Hayes got an opportunity to compete in a steeplechase in Belmont Park, New York. He had never won a race before that. The horse that he was going to race on was named Sweet Kiss and pegged as a 20-1 underdog. In spite of the long odds of winning, and despite the fact that Hayes had little experience as a jockey since he was a horse trainer by profession, Hayes and Sweet Kiss ended up victorious. The owner of the horse, elated with the win, approached Hayes afterwards only to find out to her horror that Hayes was dead. It appeared at some point during the middle of the race, Hayes had suffered a heart attack and died. Sweet Kiss somehow managed to hop the final fence and cross the finish line ahead of everyone to win while carrying literal dead weight. The track physician speculated that his death may have been caused by a pre-existing heart condition. Hayes would end up in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first, and so far the only, deceased jockey to win a race. Number 2. Johnny Orris. Self-proclaimed king of all media, Howard Stern first gained notoriety and hundreds of $1 million along the way as a shock jock pushing the envelope in radio broadcasting. In October of 2013, as a tie-in with Johnny Knoxville's movie Bad Grandpa, Stern held a contest called Get My Grandpa Laid on his radio show. The winner turned out to be 86-year-old Sullivan, Illinois native and widower Johnny Orris. The prize? A threesome with call girls Caressa Kisses and Rain Riches in Nevada's famous brothel, the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. December 12, 2013 was the scheduled date for Orris's threesome. When that day came, he decided to celebrate what he called the greatest day of his life by dining at a Nevada steakhouse first before heading to the brothel. According to one of his grandchildren, he was full of life and had been really looking forward to this particular day. Sadly, the greatest day of his life would turn out to be his last. Orris choked to death on a prime rib he was eating. Paramedics tried to revive him, but to no avail. Grandpa Johnny Orris didn't get laid, after all. Number 1. Yong. So, Alanis Morissette thinks a 98-year-old man winning the lottery and dying the next day is ironic. Well, this next entry is about a man who didn't even last a few minutes after hitting the jackpot. This man, simply known as Yong, was a 62-year-old noodle stall helper in Malacca, Malaysia. Yong placed a bet worth 40 cents in Malaysia's 4-digit lottery. In August 2014, while on his break, he was reading the newspaper to check the lottery result. To his surprise, his combination of 1, 2, 3, 4 won second prize in the draw. It was unclear how much his winning prize was, but second prizes for Malaysia's 4-digit lottery normally pay between the equivalent of $250 to $500. He was so ecstatic with his win, people nearby overheard him yelling "wow" before he suddenly collapsed to the floor. His employer immediately called for paramedics. They tried to revive him, but they were unsuccessful. He was dead mere seconds after realizing he had won. Poor fellow, at least those other cursed lottery winners got to enjoy their money for a while before self-destructing.
So I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some of our other videos which we're putting over there on the right. One is the top 10 most unbelievable stories of people who won the lottery, and below that we've got the top 10 undeserved Razzie winners. So if you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy those as well, so be sure to check them out, and thank you for watching.